All right. All right. Hello. This is Ralph Fraze, and welcome to the Club Solutions Leadership Viewpoint. I'm joined today with Amy Boone Thompson, CEO of Idea Health and Fitness Association. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you and with the Club Solutions audience.
Oh, Amy, it's wonderful. We've been friends quite a while, so this is such a great opportunity to talk to you about the importance of the group fitness department in clubs, in standalones, just in the world of health and fitness and how we impact people's lives through group fitness, because we know that in group fitness, we've got the mental health benefits, we've got the physical health benefits. So there's so much good stuff that happens in the group fitness department. So I'm really excited to talk to you about some of this stuff.
Let's get into it. Excited.
All right, let's do it. So first and foremost, now you purchased Idea Fit Health. I want to make sure I got the name right for you. Idea Health and Fitness Association, because I know there's some name stuff that we want to make sure we've got straight. So I want to make sure I've got that for you. So you purchased it about 2 years ago, and now you are the owner and CEO. So tell me about some of the things that you've changed in the first couple years of owning it and where you want to go with it.
Fantastic. Well, to kind of go back a little bit, I wanted to let your audience know I actually started my career as a personal trainer in 1995. So after 30 years of holding nearly every role in the industry, I was hired to be the VP and GM of Idea, and that was in 2019. And then the pandemic happened, and we all know what happened to both our industry, but more importantly, to media companies like ours and events companies like this one. And so being the leader of Idea during that time, I really understood the value of the organization to Fit Pros in the rebuilding process and in really helping our professionals to evolve. And so that led me to asking to acquire the business. So I've owned it now for 2 years. We just celebrated our second anniversary with me at the helm. But Idea Health and Fitness Association is actually in our 43rd year now. We just celebrated our 42nd anniversary. So it's a long-standing association. So first and foremost, and again, back to the reason I raised my hand to step in and lead this company into the future, is that we knew that our tech needed to evolve and be modernized. And so really, I think the biggest change you'll see that we've made in the first couple of years is bringing in a new tech platform. It's more innovative, it's more responsive. We now have our own learning management system for our 900 plus courses, our 15,000 articles. We've introduced a new workout builder for professionals. We've got a social media planner, a client newsletter, all the discounts and perks. And then most importantly, we're introducing more of a robust community to connect our fitness professionals in between in-person events.
Yeah. I went through the website, and it was great to see all the different tools that are there. So you definitely get a lot of value for your membership. And in particular, I love the social media section, because that's such a difficult one, whether you're branding yourself as an individual or however you're doing that. Having some guidance and help is certainly great to have.
Yeah, we actually, it's kind of like its own calendar. We produce all the education. It really puts it out for professionals to be thought leaders in our space with quality articles that they know are vetted and from trustworthy sources. So it's just a great, easy turn-on solution for someone to push proper media out to their channels, which is pretty cool.
So where do members find the most value of all those things that you offer? Where do members find the most value?
We're best known for our in-person events. So Idea World is what we're best known for, bringing our community together, connecting our pros with suppliers and brands, and giving them top quality education. That's what we're best known for. But we do have a lot of online learners. Even way before the pandemic, we've had online courses now for 10, 12, even 15 years. So we've been leading in that category for a while as well.
All right. Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about Idea World coming up. July, right?
Yes. July 10th through the 14th.
All right. So I'm a big fan of Idea World. I've attended many times when I was over group fitness and wellness in a large club operation. I enjoyed going. Just one, because I love taking the classes, but the education opportunities with a wide variety of people, being able to see where the group fitness people were excited and where the momentum was always really interesting to see. So it's just a really great conference. And for anybody, whether you're managing the group fitness department or you're in the department, it's an awesome opportunity for education. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. And owners, operators need to be there to see what's happening as well.
Yeah, yeah. So you're probably in the nutty phase of planning at this point. So what are you and your team excited about for this year's Idea World?
Well, I've always been excited. I've been attending for nearly all of those 30 years. I think I missed Idea World only the 2 years I was very, very pregnant. So I've been going nearly every year as well, no matter what my role was in the industry, whether I was an owner, whether I was on the supplier side, whether I was actively teaching, building my personal training business. So Idea World is the largest global gathering of fitness professionals and business owners together. And we're really best known for our leading education. We have over 200 sessions to choose from, and we can dig into the different subject matter that we're offering. But we also, at the same time, so there's 4 days of education overlapped with 2 days of fitness and wellness expo. And at the expo, we're bringing in the innovative brands. We've become known as kind of the launching pad for any new brand or product coming into the space, because our pros test it. We sweat on it, we use it, we put it into programs, and then we tell our owners what to buy. So that's what we're best known for, education and innovative products.
Yeah, and in contrast to maybe the URSA convention, where that has a very specific sort of trade show feel, yeah, Idea World has a completely different feel to it, which is really interesting and really fun to be able to see.
Yeah, super fun. It's where the energy's at. Did you want to dig into some of the knowledge and the education?
Well, yeah, tell me what you're excited about for this year.
Sure.
Maybe some different things that you're introducing, or like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So for education this year, I think what you'll see is, like I said, over 200 different variety of workshops, workouts, lectures, panels. We really bring together the industry's leading subject matter experts. Some of the really fun kind of tracks and specialties we're featuring this year. Of course, tech has just a huge impact on our space. So we've got different ways to use tech. We've got sessions on AI. We've got sessions on all different kinds of, technology that can improve your business. We've got specialties in bar and boxing, in cycling, which I know is your specialty. Tons of courses on recovery and sports-specific performance training. We've got pickleball. We've got just helping your athlete to progress from professional athlete or adolescent athlete. Small group coaching. We've got specialty populations, a lot with active aging this year. We've also got yoga, mobility training, and then we always cover the business of fitness extensively as well.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, definitely well-rounded education for sure. Yes, I was very glad to see in the pre-con that there's still a cycle certification. So yes. I think I got my first cycle certification. I don't even want to guess how many years ago, but it was at a pre-con at Idea World. So that's always very, very good to see that it's still alive and well.
Yes.
Okay, so then let's change gears just a little bit, because I want to talk about now a little more of the business of group fitness. And a key part of that for operators is their group fitness department is retaining top talent. So, in your estimation, in your suggestion, I mean, how should operators go about making the atmosphere in their club one where the instructor wants to be a part of the bigger fabric of the club?
All right, so this is a loaded question, but let me try to hone in on what's most important for operators. First, you should know that your professionals have more choices than ever. They don't need a box anymore. They can train where they want, how they want, and they choose when they want to work. So knowing that, really they choose a place to train based on the culture that you create and the value that you're creating for them as professionals around the value that the members have. So if the members are happy and there's lots of members, of course, the instructors want to be there, but they also want people, their owners, operators, to invest in them. So one of the examples of that is that you have a good quality hiring process. You're not just hiring people with a pulse, but they actually have quality education in the specialty where they are training. And then you invest in that. So you're investing in their education, because good operators know that when their professionals are growing, your business is also growing. They grow hand in hand. We used to be threatened by investing in our instructors or our personal trainers because we thought they'd, leave to the next club. Well, guess what? They're going to leave anyway if you don't invest in them. So when they grow, you grow, and invest in your people both with education, but also with your compensation and benefits packages. Last year, we did our 2023 IDEA and ACSM compensation and benefits survey. And there were just a ton of spotlights in that about what the instructors are valuing, what are the proper compensations per markets here in the US market. And really that could be a good gauge for you to see how your compensation and benefits measure up against what some of the top programs are offering.
Okay. Yeah. And I know, like, when I was managing large club operation, we put a lot of emphasis on trying to incorporate the group fitness team into the larger club, because we wanted them to feel like they were part of the club and uphold the culture, right? And not just be mercenaries just coming in, teaching a class and taking off. And we put a lot of effort into that. Do you see that as something that is a big differentiator for some operators than others?
Yeah, it is. If you love your instructors, first you recognize, like, this is your fun squad of your entire club. This is the energy, the nucleus. And the best instructors they have this law of attraction, I should say. So your members are drawn to them for their positivity, their energy, their fun, or their expertise. So if you really think about that from an operator, like, they can be your most valuable asset to your club, because they are one instructor can retain hundreds, if not thousands, of your members just by showing up 1 or 2 times a week with that really high, fun energy. So I always tell operators, I'm like, love your instructors just like you love your members, because one instructor can equal the membership dues lineup of quite a few members. If you treat them as part of the club, if you feature them, if you spotlight them, if you're really just embracing them and including them in all of your club's activities and position them as your brand ambassador in a way.
Yeah. And I think so. And I think what you were saying about valuing them, I think, keeping them informed on what's going on in the club and including them in some of the big picture things that are happening, because members are going to ask them about, what's going on with this remodel or this event or that type of thing. And the more the effort that we put into keeping them in the loop, the better they can do to uphold those things for the club operator. And they feel better about it rather than feeling like, hey, no one ever tells me anything, so I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, making sure they're the first to know about changes, because if they have a positive spin on it, it's absolutely going to go more positively, whether that's a program or a remodel or a new piece of equipment or a schedule change or whatever it is. If they're involved and feel like they're informed and they're part of that process and change, then they're going to be an advocate for you and the rest of your facility.
Yeah. How about a dues increase?
Yes.
Right? Being able to prep the group fit team on a dues increase before, of like, here's why we did it, here's the last time we did it, like those types of things. So they've got a couple talking points around a dues increase, because that's what members tend to do, right? They'll do little shots at people. They won't, most will just say little subtle things.
Yeah.
But those are just kind of negative detractors for the instructor. But if they've got some talking points, it just makes it a lot easier.
I love the question when members hear there's a dues increase. They often go to their favorite trainer or instructor and say, are you getting a raise from this? And so, wow, if the instructor said, heck yeah, I'm getting an incentive based on this dues increase. My club values me and the value I bring to the club, and they're actually giving me additional compensation, or they're investing in sending me to Idea World, or they're, my club values me, and part of this increase is absolutely coming to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And how about as far as, what do you see as far as like good practice as far as getting the group fitness teams input on schedule changes, new classes, that type of thing? I think that's part of the buy-in part of them feeling like they're a part of the club.
Yeah, well, hopefully you have a good director in place. I know sadly some club chains had to let go of their directors, VPs, manager level, but truly that's the person who can collect all the information, organize a schedule that makes sense for your growth. And in doing so, they are absolutely taking input from the team, not only what they're seeing with their membership and your members, but what else is out there that we're not seeing that could be really innovative or bring a new spin to our program, et cetera. So the advantage of having Group X individuals who might teach at other clubs is they've got their eye on the what's next and the what's cool and the what's trending. And they could be bringing that to your club if you're open to it, instead of being all protective and tight with that knowledge.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And that is the upside of them being in various places. You could use that to your advantage. One thing that you said about being uptight, right? And
yes.
Is that I tried doing where we had our instructors, we had a big competitor coming into one of our markets, and I tried doing where the wanted the instructors to be exclusive.
Yes.
And that they could only teach with us. Oh my God, that was a miserable failure.
I did that too, Ralph. Made that mistake too.
Oh my gosh.
How did it end for you? What was the end result?
We backed off, bailed. It's like, sorry, so sorry. Yeah.
Well, I would suggest this. If you are going to ask for exclusivity, first of all, it's illegal in some states, so you should check your laws. First, you need to compensate in a way that shows that they are exclusive to your brand. So as an example, like if you can't offer full-time employment, then you can't prevent them from working elsewhere. And if you can't compensate the top rate for that class, for that talent, then you have to expect they're going to go look elsewhere to get paid what they feel they deserve. So again, know your market. We shouldn't be just succumbing to whatever rate the talent is asking for. But if you go to that benefit survey, if you shop your market, if you have that manager that's out there really understanding what good compensation is, you can compensate at top rates and keep your talent exclusive because they want to be with you and you're compensating well.
Yeah. And that's kind of where we got, was more of an incentive to be with us more classes.
Yes.
So like if you are teaching X amount of classes a week, then you qualify for these things. And it wasn't just, it was pay tier, but it was also sort of other things like, clothing and shoe allowance and that type of thing, if you are teaching this many classes. So we learned that the carrot was way more beneficial than the stick,
100%.
Especially in that world, because the group fitness people did not play with that at all.
100%.
Yeah. All right. So let's stay on staffing, because I want to talk about recruiting and growing new instructors, because we know that, with all the new boutique studios, there's just a lot more instruction hours out there. And have you seen that the pace of sort of certified instructors has kept pace with the need for more class hours taught?
Okay, I love this question. And I'm going to start with the fact that boutique fitness in most cases is group fitness. So remember, now we're talking about one instructor versus 10 or 30 or 75 people in the room. So boutique in most cases is group fitness. Now, there's an important distinction here when you're thinking about an instructor who's qualified to work in a club, freestyle programming versus pre-formatted classes. And typically, boutique operators are training their instructors on a very, very highly specific specialty training. And in most cases, the instructor can just be trained on that modality and be able to show up and be the cheer or the support that that member might need, and doesn't need a lot of other expertise. However, if you're a big club operator and you're hiring for someone who can create their own programming, that's a whole different set of expertise. And that's where you're really going to want to look for someone with a group instructor certification, where they've studied anatomy, they've studied all the contraindications. Ideally, you have both in a boutique, but I know that they're in a pre-formatted type of class versus a freestyle type of class. There's some nuances. So I just want to point that out for operators. Not all instructors are created the same. And just because someone worked in the boutique down the street does not make them qualified to teach your classes on your schedule. So you want to dig deep into their specialties and their qualifications. But from there, I would say, like, in terms of finding the talent, there's certainly, again, there's more options than ever for these instructors. So they've got different places and variety. And we're hearing that a lot of instructors like that variety. They like to teach in boutique and then go to big box and then go over here. And then, by the way, train my own clients online. So a lot of new people are coming to the industry because they're attracted to that flexibility. And we're calling it like the gig economy of fitness, where there's now tech that can meet that professional's needs. If they turn it on, they can find quality classes that they want to teach at the rate they want to be paid in their market. So I would, operators, be dialed into that. I certainly could let you know what's happening in that space, but that's how we're finding talent is coming into the industry, because they might be attracted to the flexibility, attracted to being able to train at different places or teach at different places when they want, how they want. So there's still new talent coming in. It may not be through the traditional pathways that we're used to. And I think that's where we have to get creative and look around and see, like, well, where is that talent and where are they coming from?
Do you see a migration where maybe a young instructor would come in through a boutique and through their training program and have the protocols all laid out, and then once they're comfortable with that and being in front of a group, they can migrate to something where they can be a little more freeform?
Yes, just like your members come in and they migrate to a class in the group X room, and then eventually they venture out to the free weight section and they get more comfortable and they try Pilates and they try different things. Same for fitness professionals. So boutiques are actually serving as a really nice gateway to our industry, because they're very fun, they're sexy, it's like it's cool, it's hip. They position their instructors as influencers in the community. But then if that instructor wants to grow and evolve in the industry, then they're pointed to a certification, a Group X certification. They're pointed to other specialties and pathways. And so I see it as a gateway, no different than a member coming into a club, comes for that one thing, but ends up finding so much more.
Yeah. And then I think, interestingly, that now big club operators may have some boutique field within their club that has formatted programming. So they could almost do that same thing within their club. They could start and recruit instructors within their formatted studios in their club, and then branch them out, but still keep them in-house.
Yes, and invest in them. So just like we talked about earlier, find the talent that you want to grow with your brand, invest in them, help get them the training they need to expand on their ability to teach different modalities or in different places in your facility, or adding in personal training perhaps. If you want them to grow those roots in your organization, then you've got to invest in them and watch them grow. And again, I promise you, your business will also grow.
Yeah, because they're so bought in at that point, right? If they start at the front desk, or they start in childcare, or somewhere within the club, and they're able to work their way up, they're less likely to leave for $2 more a class.
Yeah, and we're really, another tip here is to look to your local colleges, universities, partner with the kinesiology programs, the phys ed programs, the pre-med programs. Also, there's trade schools in a lot of towns. I used to in Colorado as part of National Personal Training Institute. So there are a lot of places that are developing talent, bringing them into the market, and you could be the place where they get their first opportunity. So make sure you're partnering. We do a career discovery day at Idea World, and we really are introducing our career choice to 14 through 25-year-olds. We want them to come in and experience what it would be like to be a professional, whether they use that skill to pay for college and then take a different degree, or whether they use that skill to have a lifelong career in health and fitness.
Yeah, that's great too, because being able to teach on campus, and so many of the college rec centers and fitness centers have gotten so good that, what a great opportunity for them to be able to do that right on campus at school, but be able to get started with learning some of the modalities through IDEA.
Yeah, and maybe even that college campus program will invest in their education along with you. Like if maybe they're part-time there and part-time with you, and you're both investing in their education, just think again how that person will grow and become a lifelong member and employee for you.
Yeah. What's cool is, for some of the savvy instructors, right, they could get somebody else to pay for their education, through these things by paying back to the operator right after you've done it, right? So it's a nice even balance, but so they don't necessarily have to pay for it themselves.
Yeah, I agree. And I wouldn't be threatened by that as an operator. I would welcome that. I would welcome the fact that you can get an instructor who you're investing in, other people are investing in, and they're going to give back dividends because they see you as someone who really cares for them, sees them growing with your brand. And like I said, even if they leave as an instructor, they'll probably stay on as a member when they go off and do, if they leave fitness and choose a different career, they'll probably be a lifelong member. So invest in these young students, give them learning opportunities, and then don't be scared to, like we said, partner invest, let's say.
Yeah. And I think for operators, you can very easily figure a return on investment for these things, whether it's going to a conference or it's helping them get a certification or whatever, because there's a way of paying for them up front and then an agreement that they stay so long right after. And, so there's a way of structuring it where you can make it safe for yourself as an operator to put that investment out.
I agree. And I would only do it, Ralph, to your point, like you don't put that out to all 30 or all 50 of your staff. You invest in the people that have the most growth potential, and make options for people like, hey, if you're training one class a week, here's your options. If, like you said before, if the more you train, the more we invest, or the more that we see, you have a talent for this modality or this specialty that we want to bring in, or we're investing in this new equipment and this new program, and we need a team that wants to be trained on it. Absolutely. We've done lots of programs where we invest in the professionals who bring that program to the club, and then, they get that knowledge.
Yeah. NPS scores, right? NPS scores for group fitness department. If you're hitting this score, then we will fund the education department at this level where everybody gets to participate. There's a lot of fun, creative ways to do it. Amy, is it true that the group fitness instructors are getting older and we're not filling at the same rate? Is that true, or is that false?
So we are aging as instructors, but there's still plenty of younger professionals coming into the industry. But again, I would look in the less traditional pathways of how they're finding our clubs. And so I think you're going to see people are first engaging online or with digital types of offerings, and then welcoming them into the club to see what's available to them at a club might be their next step. So, you know what, I don't have data to suggest that there are no new fitness professionals coming in.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have data to say at Idea World the last 2 years, we had more first-time attendees than we've had in a very long time. Now, granted, we were virtual for 2 years, but coming back in person, I expected it to be all the veterans. And we had more first-time new instructors to the industry than we imagined, and it blew our minds. So I'm optimistic. And like I said, we're investing in the next generation as well, while still loving our aging instructors.
Yeah. Well, I love the career fair opportunity for people, so they can see where those opportunities are. And regardless of where they're at in their stage of their life, right? Whether they've got young kids or middle school, right? Or any age, and male, female, just to be able to kind of flex in and out is just such a nice, beneficial little career path.
Yeah, the gig economy.
That's a very interesting way of putting it. So let me ask you this, staying on kind of the business aspect of it. So big part of what I did is always sort of analyzing our classes for our, our cost per class, our cost per member, being able to balance our schedule. Not all classes are going to be full, but having a kind of a minimum number. So maybe tell me a little bit about sort of best practices around managing the group fitness schedule to keep it cost effective, but also understanding that it is such a huge impact department on membership retention, on membership sales, on referrals. I mean, it has such a huge role, but it also has a significant cost, and we're balancing those two things all the time. So as far as like managing the instructor costs, what are some of the best practices that you've seen or that you teach operators?
Yeah, so I would just offer, first of all, there's a lot of science behind building a schedule or a timetable that you can look to. I mean, I used to work with Les Mills, and they have great training on this. So first and foremost, I think you need to look at the membership you have that's coming to the club. When are they coming? When are the peak times? When do you need to disperse people between the main fitness area? And I'm talking big box right now, traditional big box.
Yeah.
When do you need to pull people into different areas of the club so that from a space management during your peak times, you can fit the most members possible? So you're going to want your highest volume classes during peak times to pull people off the fitness floor into the group room. Just makes sense to use all your footprint, right? But beyond that, there's a whole science that goes into which modality should get what % of your timetable for the membership you have. It comes from understanding your members, why they're joining, what they're looking for, but also it looks at what most people join clubs for. And you can look at that by your country, by your state, by your market. So there's some science that goes into the higher level. Now, a lot of these technology partners might be able to even give you that information from, why your members joined. They could easily survey, what are they looking for in their group fitness program? But then behind that, you want to think about the talent that you have in those key slots and what that cost per class is for the peak times versus the members you're able to attract. You want to look at the members you don't have. So that's the members you do have. And then there's this whole population out there who's not coming to your club. They're either going elsewhere or they're enjoying their workouts online or outside. What do you need to be offering to bring them inside your doors? And then how do you bring them in at a time slot that maybe is less crowded so they would have a different experience? So there's a whole bunch that goes into it. But I would just offer, again, get a director of group fitness or fitness, get your VP to really invest in them and their knowledge so they understand this for you and your club.
Yeah. And it's very easy. I want to just underscore, it's very easy to measure member referral that comes through group fitness. And so we look at it as a member attractor, not just a cost department. 100%. So let me ask you this. This is probably the not so sciencey part, but somebody introduces a new class doing exactly what you said. We want to attract some new people. We want to be cool, right? We want to do something different. We put a new class on the schedule. We've got to give it some time to get going. About how long would you say you could see, like, you would start to see some traction that people are starting to find this class? Like, what would that time be?
Yeah, so most clubs are changing their schedule quarterly. They make big changes quarterly, and they do it on a regular basis, whether things are performing or not. So they condition the members for change. So every 3 months, we're going to be changing up the schedule. You can expect, new things coming in, exciting. This % of it's going to change, whatever. That gives you an opportunity really to look at the classes that are performing or underperforming, the instructors that are performing or underperforming. And again, there's a lot of information you can use from that. Attendance isn't the only thing. There could be a lot of other factors going on. But the instructors who are building their classes are also investing in their own marketing and in building themselves within your club. So, the ones that grow those roots that we talked about earlier are seeing success more quickly because they're building relationships inside your walls and out in your community. And they're inviting people to their class and they're doing the marketing for you. It's not just to show up and teach and go home. It is the culture that you talked about earlier. I'm part of this club. I want my class to be successful. I love the members. I love teaching here. I'm going to just shout off the rooftops that I'm teaching at 5 o'clock every Tuesday, Wednesday, and hopefully people will join me, right?
Yeah. So if I give it a little bit of time,
Yeah.
So you're saying, so it's the 90-day cycle, right? So you'd give it 90 days and then you would see, right? And with all things equal, that you've got a great instructor who's promoting and trying to get some energy around it. So, and then if it doesn't fly within that 90 days, then
yes, that's the cycle most clubs are on. But again, I would be very clear about your goals from the beginning of the class, because attendance is not always the top goal. It could be that you're trying to attract like a very specific clientele within your facility, or you might be maxed out at a certain piece of equipment station. So there's a lot of variables, but if you create clear goals going in and then give it that quarterly window, you should probably see some traction and some results at that point.
Yeah, the reason why I'm smiling is because I'm remembering a long debate about a Tai Chi class we had. We had a Tai Chi class at 8 o'clock in one particular club, and it consistently got like 5-6 people.
Yeah.
Now, 5-6 people, to your point, is not very good, but at 8 o'clock, consistently, we were cool with it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was such a specialty thing, and those people were super consistent. So 8 o'clock Tai Chi, great. 6 o'clock body pump, not so good, right? So
yeah. And then like if you're trying to attract moms, you've got to have childcare or options. Like there's just a ton of variables, like what's happening elsewhere in the club. Make sure your program's not competing for the same client. Make sure, there's just so much thought that gives into this, but this is what Group X managers do.
Right. Yeah, no, great ones do. And I've worked with some really good ones, and it's really fun. And then we're not even talking about like class stacking, right?
Correct.
So being able to back-to-back classes, so people can go from a low intensity to a high intensity to a yoga recovery, sort of in succession, and it makes sense on the schedule. And scheduling that on the days that are rotating so they can do other things, right? So
yeah.
With
your rest day, your recovery day, do you want people to move from one room to the other and join the same class for 3 hours in a row? Or do you want to turn the room? Do you want to give other members a chance? Right. Yeah. So if you build it too stacky, you'll get the same 30 people following that instructor back to back. Instead of turning the room, do you need a new 30 people in there to accommodate the rest of your membership? Right. So crazy, right?
Yeah, no, but very fun. And like you said, very important to know sort of what your membership goals are, who your audience is, what your talent pool is for instructors, and what is the dues driver at the end of the day.
Right. That's right.
All right. So next question I wanted to ask you about is just sort of general sort of movement of classes that you see, popularity of classes. So some class types are sort of on the rise and gaining more momentum, just sort of on the big picture, and others probably seeing a little less participation. On a macro level, Amy, what are you seeing? And I'm avoiding using the trend word, so that's I'm avoiding saying that word.
Yeah, on a macro level, I see more space being given as open space and strength training, but it's more functional strength training. We're still seeing a lot more of the footprint being used for that. Less dedicated to your traditional cardio machines, or sadly, some people are converting their cycle studios just because it can't accommodate that many members, depending on the size of it. So we're seeing just big box traditionally are still creating more open space to accommodate more people with more functional type or HIIT type training. That's a big generalization because I also travel to fitness clubs globally, and we see different trends in different markets. So, I came into the year predicting what would trend and what would not. And we just see metabolic training is still on the rise. Active aging is on the rise. Anything that is we're calling it biohacking. So this holistic approach to well-being, and that means brain health, and that means mind-body practices and rest and recovery, like all of those things are still very much in, and clubs are giving both space and investment to those types of training.
So what about like the genre of dance? So is that on the rise or decline? And let's I don't know if Zumba typically falls into that category, but let's put it. So are dance classes on the rise?
Yeah. I don't see dance on the rise in 2024. It typically will get a certain percentage of the schedule. And yes, Zumba has dance. There are some new exciting dance classes I was seeing come out when I was just a few years back with Les Mills. So we have dance at Idea World. Dance still will always take a percentage of the schedule. But again, I don't know that it's rise enough to make an impact. At least that's my perception today. But there are really cool brands that keep coming and bringing new concepts and modalities. So
yeah. So maybe dance is basically flat,
I'd say, from my view. But again, that's not from data. That's an observation.
Right. And that's going to be dependent on clubs and people. And because what I always loved about dance in our group fitness schedule is that it was a great place for people to start the group fitness experience.
Yes.
Because it was fun, it's light, it's typically, it isn't super like choreographed. It's a little more freeform, and people can have fun doing it. And it just always seemed like having a decent percentage of dance was just, I don't know, just joyful and was great to have as part of the club offering.
Most people can do it. You don't need equipment. And it's that fun factor, right? Where you draw people in. I would say just a few years back when I was out in all the clubs working in my Les Mills mode, Las Vegas can pack a room with dancing. Like Las Vegas Athletic Clubs has these huge studios. If you ever get a chance to go, imagine 100 body pump sets, and that's just body pump. And then move that out and do a dance class and just imagine how fun and crazy it is. And then dance was on the rise in Utah. That was a few years back, but that was pre-pandemic. I remember dance was on the rise in Utah. So those are just some observations. But you're right. It's no equipment. People can move. It's a great entry to draw people from your community into the club. They do that, and then they get excited and start doing other things on the program.
Yeah. We had a nice experience like with Bollywood classes.
Yes.
Like being able in Silicon Valley, being able to offer Bollywood classes was a great way to open up a new population to the club that maybe typically wouldn't be club goers.
Yeah, I always said I wanted to be a Zumba instructor when I retire, but I might get some training now and start doing it sooner than later.
Eventually, everybody becomes a Zumba enthusiast. They'll get you in the end.
It's so great.
All right, so let me get you out of here on this one.
Okay.
Amy, I want to ask you about what your advice would be for the young instructors that we were talking about earlier. So if you were given the advice of a young person that's that feels like, ooh, I kind of have the calling. I enjoy health and fitness. I enjoy helping people. I want to make a difference in people's lives. What would be your advice to help get them started?
So first, I would say wherever you are in the world, go to your nearby clubs, experience as much as possible. Like join the club or get on a student membership, join with your parents, see what's available. If you're a student, go to the campus rec, see all that's available, what you're drawn to. At IDEA, we don't actually certify professionals, but we point you to qualified certifications, and we've got plenty of career pathways to share with you, including the Career Discovery Day that I mentioned before. And that takes place in July. On the 13th, we have the Career Discovery Day for people thinking about entering the industry. What do I want to do? They can get a kind of a taste of some different things. If you're looking online, please go to quality and reputable educators. Because you took some advice from an influencer does not make you a fitness professional. There are quality certifying agencies that will help teach you the anatomy and science, Or if you go to one of the boutiques we talked about earlier and they give you on-site training, that's fantastic. Start there, then see what you love, and then go in that other direction and just grow. That's the beauty of our industry, is you can go in so many different directions.
Yeah. Okay. That's great advice. Yes. Try get in your club, try a bunch of different modalities, see what kind of speaks to you and kind of where your tribe is, and then get more education. And yes, thank you for the reminder on the influencer is not necessarily an educator. So be careful of that. So that's
don't give them your money. Don't give them your money.
So, okay. So Idea World is at Staples.
It's Los Angeles Convention Center, and now it's called Crypto, but that's next door. So we're at the Los Angeles Convention Center, LA Live, and we are there July 10th through the 14th. The expo is the 12th and 13th, right in the middle.
All right. Awesome. Well, Amy, thank you so much for spending this time with me. Really fun talking group fitness. Yay. Could go on. We didn't get to a whole bunch of other things that we could tick to, but we'll do that in part 2 sometime.
That's okay. It was really fun. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.